Welcome to Department of Aeronautical Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education Research. Myself, Dr. M. Sundararaj, Professor in Department of Aeronautical Engineering, BIHEP. Today, I'm going to explain about thermodynamic process in the course Fundamentals of Aerothermodynamics. What is thermodynamic process? In our last session and all, we clearly discussed about what is a thermodynamic state, path, all these things we discussed. In that, the next stage is thermodynamic process. You must know what is the thermodynamic process. So the definition says, when a system changes its state from one equilibrium state to another equilibrium state, then the path of successive state through which the system has passed is known as thermodynamic process. Okay? Already we discussed sufficiently what is a system, and in previous session I clearly explained about the equilibrium state. If you want to say a system is thermodynamically equilibrium, it must satisfy three conditions. It must mechanical equilibrium, thermal equilibrium, and chemical equilibrium. So please recall those concepts also to understand what is the thermodynamic process. I have a system. That system changes its state from one equilibrium state to another equilibrium state. Then the path of successive state, through which the system has passed. Because from one equilibrium state to another equilibrium state, the system is going to travel from initial to final, state 1 to 2, say for example. So when it travels from state 1 to 2, it will passes through a series of successive states. So the path of the successive state through which the system has passed is known as the thermodynamic process. Here I have considered a simple example to understand what is a process. Again, I have considered a piston cylinder arrangement. A working substance is available with me. Between the piston and cylinder bottom wall, we have a blue in color, that is the working substance. And top of the piston, we have one weight load is acting. So in the first state at the state 1, its properties, pressure, volume, temperature is P1, V1, T1 respectively. So what happened? The piston is maintained at that particular height, state 1. The piston is maintained at state 1. Already I told you in the previous sessions how this piston is maintained at that particular height, because its tendency is when you keep some weight, the piston will try to move towards the downward direction, but it is maintained at that standard level. Because of whom? Already I explained, it's because of the working substance. So even some weight is acting towards the downward direction, some counter load is maintaining it, it is preventing its travel towards the downward direction. That's called as the pressure. I explained to you already. So here, to maintain that piston at that state 1, it means mechanical equilibrium. There is no displacement, mechanical equilibrium. So to maintain that mechanical equilibrium, please recall what is mechanical equilibrium. There should not be any unbalanced force. So here, if the piston is at that location, at that state, means it's not getting any displacement, means there is no unbalanced force. It means the W, which is acting downward direction, is equivalent to the upward direction. That is the pressure P1. W equal to P1. Now what I'm doing, just I'm adding a heat energy, heating process. I'm adding heat energy. So what happened? We know that if you give some heat source, if you start adding the heat energy, definitely pressure will increase. If temperature increases, pressure also will increase. It means what happened? You please look at the figure number 2. That state A you can see. So what happened when I started adding the heat energy, pressure is increasing. I noted that the pressure is PA, but please look at the load which is kept over the piston. It is same only. W only is acting. So the downward load is same again, but upward load, that is the pressure, got increased. But at one particular, because the corresponding for the particular quantity of heat energy, some particular quantity of particular amount of pressure raise will be there. After that, it will not increase. So if that pressure increases, what happens? It will try to move. The pressure will have tendency to move in all directions. But all these three sides are the cylinders. All these three sides are fixed. It has only one possibility. It can move. It can lift the piston upward direction. Since the PA is greater than W, it will move upward direction until the W is equal to PA. W is equal to PA. I'm sorry, it should be PA. W is equal to PA. So, but we can see that between the first figure and state A, there is a change in volume. Volume increases. Volume increased, but the pressure maintained constant. Again, I'm adding some more heat energy. Then further heat energy will be added to the working substance. Pressure will increase. So to satisfy that pressure, to maintain the constant pressure, piston will it will move little bit higher. So at that state, the pressure is PB, W is equal to weight is W. Then again, it's keep on increasing. I'm adding the heat energy. Then finally, it came to P2 in final state. So at that state, again, the piston moved up to the maximum limit, maximum volume, but still the P2 is equal to W. So this entire happening events, all these things I'm measuring the pressure, volume, temperature, pressure, volume, temperature, P1, P2, PA, PP, all these things I'm measuring and just plotting it in the PV diagram, pressure volume diagram. So you can look at it that my intention is to maintain the pressure constant, but to maintain the pressure, some variable has to be compromised. That is volume. Volume here, you can look at the figure, volume is increasing. So at the constant pressure manner, volume is increasing. You see the arrow direction, towards that direction only system is moving. So that each state also mentioned 1, A, B, C, etc. and B. So here it is the expansion process. Actually, it is a expansion, constant pressure expansion process. In forthcoming sessions, we are going to discuss, of course, about the constant pressure, constant volume process and all. Here, please try to understand what is a process. What is a process means? Just I'm adding the heat energy. Something is happening. Heating is happening. So that heating is the process. Because of that, what is the outcome? Here, that volume got increased. When I maintained a certain condition, volume only got increased, pressure is maintained constant. So that is the example for the thermodynamic process. The next one is the types of thermodynamic process. First one is the non-flow process. Non-flow process. So what is a non-flow process is that a process may be non-flow in which a fixed mass within the defined boundary is undergoing change of state. Please try to understand. Already in the first session, we discussed about what is the closed system. Closed system means system of fixed mass. Boundary will not, across the boundary, mass flow will not be allowed. That we discussed already. So almost it is similar to that. In a process may be a non-flow in which a fixed mass means the mass cannot enter or cannot leave the system. The fixed mass within the defined boundary is undergoing change of state. You know what is change of state? Change of state means the system will travel from one equilibrium state to another equilibrium state, one initial state to final state, like that. So fixed mass within the defined boundary is undergoing change of state. So example, a substance which is being heated in a closed cylinder. Closed cylinder means the previous case is piston cylinder, because the piston will have the freedom to move up and downward direction. Here, all the four sides of this container is fixed. Please see that inside the black color continuous line, you can also see the dashed line. That is your system boundary. Okay, fixed boundary here. So since the outermost shell is fixed, definitely boundary also is fixed. So within this system, a substance which is being heated in a closed cylinder undergo a non-flow process. That is, closed system undergo non-flow process, like that. So here what I'm doing, just to look at the right hand side figure. See, first I considered 1 kg of mass of air I just kept inside the cylinder. I observed its pressure at state 1, initial state. I measured its pressure, temperature, volume. P1, V1, T1, I know, I got the data. Now, what I'm doing, just I'm adding some amount of heat energy to the system. Please, you can see that from the bottom, some heat energy is added, Q plus amount of heat added to the system is mentioned as Q plus in our convention, right? So because of this heat addition, already we discussed that what happened when you add heat energy to any substance, its temperature will increase, of course, right? In the previous example, if you see, if temperature increases, pressure also will increase. So if that unbalance, the pressure balance changes, means what happened, that higher pressure will lift the piston, like that. It happened in the previous case. Now here also, if you add the heat energy, temperature increases, pressure also will increase. But here there is no possibility of displacement because the boundary is fixed. So what happened? The only option is pressure has to increase. So temperature will increase and pressure also will increase. So because of this heat addition process, what is that? Because of the heat addition process, temperature and pressure got increased, but there is no change in volume. That's what I have shown at the bottom. You can see the P2 pressure, final pressure is greater than initial pressure. Final temperature is greater than initial temperature. It means temperature increases, pressure increases, but there is no change in volume, right? So here what happened? Pressurization is occurring, or heating is also occurring, but there is no flow of working fluid, so that it can be considered as non-flow process. Next, we are going to see about flow process. For aeronautical engineering students, this may be very important for you, right? Yes. So what is flow process? A process may be flow process in which mass is entering and leaving through the boundary of any open system. So what is flow process? A process may be flow process. It can be called as the flow process when the mass of the working substance mass is entering and leaving through the boundary of an open system. So let us see what is a steady flow process later. First, let us understand what is a flow process. So just here I have considered an example of nozzle, flow through nozzle. So what happened? The fluid with the pressure, initial pressure at the inlet, section 1 is the inlet, section 2 is the exit of the nozzle. At section 1, M1 amount of mass is entering. I know I measured mass entering into the inlet section is M1. And please see the nozzle section, the outer surfaces are there, but inside that I have marked the boundary, imaginary line. That is the boundary, right? So across the boundary at the inlet, section 1, the condition of the working substance is P1, C1, T1. Here, P1 is the pressure at the initial condition, C1 is the initial volume, and temperature, initial temperature. So with this condition, it is entering into the nozzle. It's undergoing some process. I don't know, something is happening. But it has the option to come out of that system. The other end is also is open for it. The mass can cross the boundary. Already it crossed, it entered into the system. And also it has another option, it can cross, it can go out of the system also. So you can see that right hand side also, that fluid is coming out with the red in color arrows. So at that outlet also I measured, I came to know that the mass flow rate is M2 and outlet condition as P2, C2 and T2. So my interest is when it passes through this nozzle section. Nozzle means we know that the converging area, that A1 will be greater than A2. Exit area is smaller than inlet area. Here it is the nozzle I have considered. Okay, so just if it is the subsonic case, if you look at what happened, I am very much interested what happens to its properties. I'm very much interested in what happens to its properties. So what happened, just you can see that the pressure P2 is less than P1. Pressure P2 is less than P1. It means pressure got decreased. Then what happened to the temperature? Temperature also got decreased. T2 is less than T1. But what happened to the other parameter, the new parameter, velocity? What happens? That C2 is greater than C1. C2 is greater than C1. It means when it is passes through the nozzle, its velocity got increased. It means it is accelerated. Flow is accelerated. The velocity got increased. So when the fluid, what we want to know, you are going to study more about these things in our aerodynamics. That is, this is here we are learning the fundamentals. Of course, in the propulsion also we are going to study. But here our intention is to understand what is a flow process. When a fluid crosses the boundary, when it enters and leaves the system, if something happens to the process, something happened to the property, then it is called the flow process. Flow process. Here it is the acceleration process. Okay, so right. So now the steady flow process. So what is the steady flow process? It may be a very important 2 mark for us. So in steady flow process, mass is crossing the boundary from surrounding at entry and an equal mass is crossing the boundary at the exit, so that the total mass of the system remains constant. It means if M1 is equal to M2, if you observe, if M1 is equal to M2, that is whatever amount of mass entering into the system is equal to the mass of the mass which is leaving the system. If it is equal, then you can say the process is steady flow process. With respect to time, there is no change in the mass flow rate. Okay, it's constant, means it is a steady flow process. Next one is, we are going to study very important process. We must know about it. It's a quasi-static process. Quasi-static process. This process already we understood, but here formally I'm explaining to you quasi-static process. What is quasi-static process? It is also called, can be called as reversible process. It is also called as reversible process. So quasi-static process is also known as the reversible process, a process which can be reversed in direction and system retraces the same equilibrium state is known as reversible process. You must understand what is a reversible process. When a system is reversed in direction, the system and surrounding the system, if the system retraces the same equilibrium state, is known as reversible process. So please try to see that right hand side figure. Already similar kind of example I explained to you. In the first state, its property is P1, V1, T1. Some load W is kept over the piston. It's acting downward direction. It is counterbalanced by the pressure P1, assuming that P1 is acting. So since the W and P1 is equal, the piston is maintained at a constant level. Now, what I am doing, just I removed only one weight from the top of the piston. Just I removed only one weight. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4 load, 4 weight stones are kept over the piston. Now I'm removing only one weight. So what happened? W, what the load which is acting on the piston is W minus 1 now. It means the load which is acting downward direction got decreased. So what happened? There is a imbalance. There is a unbalanced force. P1 is, previously P1 is equal to W. Now what happened? When I remove one load, that the load becomes W minus 1. But pressure is P1 only. So what happened? To maintain the same pressure, the piston, the working substance will lift the piston upward direction. That's why volume got increased. So the new volume is VA, the new pressure is PA, new temperature is TA. Again, I am removing the next load. I assume 10 loads are there on the top, 10 stones are there. So one by one I am removing. So whenever I remove the load, whenever I remove one load, accordingly pressure unbalanced force will be created, so that the piston will be moved little bit higher like that. So that's what the state 1, state A, state B, etc., etc., etc. At last, it reached the state 2. So what happened? Up to that, the change of state we studied in our previous session. I already explained to you the path of change of state. But here, what is the difference between the quasi-static process is, please look at the PV diagram. Once the system reaches the state 2, again, what I'm doing? Again, I'm going to keep the load one by one. It means I'm physically reversing the process. Previously, what is the process? When the system is traveling from 1 to 2, it's the expansion process. Once it reached the state 2, I decided to reverse this process. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place the load again on the top of the piston. So first I'm keeping one more load. So accordingly, when that weight was there in the system, if the system, that is, if your piston moves back to the same pressure, volume, temperature, if it reaches the same state again, till you keep all your load, 10 loads, 10 stones. If it reaches, if the system, when it is reversed, when it travel through 2, etc., etc., BA1, if it goes like this, this process is called as quasi-static process. Quasi-static process. We must know that the quasi-static process, it should be executed definitely at a very, very slow speed. Then only it can be possible. Quasi-static process is a very slow process. Slowly you must do it. Otherwise, what happens when you reverse it? It may not retrace the path, same path. When you reverse the process, I mean, when you keep it again, when you travel from 1 to 2, you are removing the weight. When you reverse the process, you are again keeping the weight one by one, so that you are measuring again where the system is going again. That's why in PV diagram you can see that 2 arrows are there. One is the expansion process, another one is the compression process. If these two, when you remove the load and when you place the load, if the system passes through the same path, this is called as reversible. It is called as reversible process. Reversible. Next one is we are going to discuss about irreversible. Just opposite to the reversible process. Just look at the figure, the right hand side. Piston cylinder alignment is there. Over the piston, load is kept over there. At that location, at that state, I know what is the pressure, volume, temperature, state 1. In reversible process, what I did, one loads I removed one by one. But here, what I'm doing, just for testing purpose, what am I interested? If I remove the load abruptly, all of a sudden, I just removed all the loads. Say, of course, please understand at the in the state 2, there is a stopper. Please assume that there is a stopper. You all of a sudden remove that load W, what is acting on the system, if you remove it. Piston. Previously, W load is acting downward direction. That is counterbalanced by the pressure. When you remove the entire W from that, only P is acting from the bottom, so that all of a sudden it will push the piston upward direction. I am not sure about intermediate states in this case. I'm not sure. It can travel. I know initial state is 1, final state is 2. But when it travel from 1 to 2, which path it traced, I don't know. Why? Because intermediate states data I don't have. Just first data I had. When the moment I removed the load, piston went up to the state 2. I don't know the intermediate data A, B, etc. and all I don't have. So the possibility may be the first line, second line, or it can be any line. So suppose if we keep again that load, all this load, if you keep it on state 2, there is no guarantee that it will come back to the state 1 or not along the same path, because you don't have the data. It may, but I don't have data. So such a process is called as irreversible process. Such a process is called as irreversible process. And irreversible process is one in which heat is transferred through a finite temperature. Heat is transferred through a finite temperature. It is usually represented by dotted lines. Reversible process will be represented by a continuous line. Here it will be represented by dotted line. So it's indicated. It will indicated by a dotted line. Line joining the end state to the indicate the intermediate states are indeterminate. Okay. So we understood what is the reversible and irreversible process. Right. So finally, thermodynamic cycle. Now we are what is a thermodynamic cycle? When a process or processes, plural, when a process or processes are performed on a system in such a way that both system and surrounding restores to its initial state, it is then known as a thermodynamic cycle or cyclic process. It's a very important 2 marks. Okay, the process or series of process. The process or series of process performed on a system. I have a system. A process or series of processes are carried out on the system in such a way that both system and surrounding, that is very important. Some people will define that system has to come back to the initial state like that. No, both system and surrounding should restore to initial state. Some cases, system may come back to the initial state, but there may be a change in the surrounding. That is also not acceptable. Okay. So both system and surrounding, if it restores to its initial state, then it is known as the thermodynamic cycle. Please look at the PV diagram. Actually, state 1, process 1 to 2 is the expansion process. This kind of process we are going to discuss constant temperature and constant entropy and all we are going to discuss. Here, please try to understand 4 processes are there. 1 to 2 is a sort of expansion, and 2 to 3 is the another expansion, and 3 to 4 is a sort of compression, and 4 to 1 is the another compression. So when the system, whatever system I consider, it undergone 4 processes, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. Even it undergone 2 expansion process, 2 compression process. After completing all this thing, it came back again to the state 1. It closed the circle, right? So such a process, combination of processes are called as thermodynamic cycle or cyclic process. So with this, I completed today's discussion. Next discussion, we'll see another topic. Thank you very much. Thank you all.